guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm jumping in with a subscriber requested video about how do I work with stones, how do I connect with stones, how do I use stones. And so, me being kind of a rock crystal kind of gal, and I have been since, I don't know, like I was 3. Or earlier. I don't know. I don't have recollection before I was 3, but I'm pretty sure I was playing around with the rocks then too. But yeah, I think that everybody is different when it comes to maybe how they work with rocks and stones and crystals and all of that. But I thought, I could put my perspective out there and how I do what I do, and maybe that could help some folks that are out there starting their, crystal journeys, your stones and your rock journey. And I think the best place to start is just rocks that you find on the ground, so I know that there are so many lovelies that we see on the Instagrams, that we see, on websites and gem fairs, or, here on YouTube, somebody will have a wonderful crystal and you're like, ooh. But I think that the best way to start working with crystals is how I started working, and like I said, this is just my perspective. Maybe not everybody starts this way. This is my little journey with crystals and how I work with them and how I listen to how they could best help me and how I can best help them, kind of in this little lifetime here. So we'll start with little me, so younger me. So we're going back to like the 80s, and I used to love collecting rocks, and I still do, like rocks off the ground. Now I like collecting them from gem shows and things like that, but it used to be I would see a really cool rock on the ground and I just knew I had to pick it up. And so I had this like really cool rock collection. I'm so sad I don't have that collection anymore because my parents, when they got divorced, they moved out of the house that I mostly grew up in, and I had to leave all of my rock babies behind at the house. And my mom used to make me keep those rocks outside, but I would sneak a couple of them indoors. But they were rocks that I mostly collected up in the high desert where my grandparents lived, and I used to spend my summers with them in the high desert. But I had collected rocks with seashells in them because at one point, thousands of years ago, the desert used to be underwater. It was part of the ocean. So I had these like really cool like fossil, like seashells in rocks, which I thought was so cool. I had really cool like multicolored rocks. I didn't quite know like what was in them. I just thought they looked really cool. I had a lot of lava rock because there was a lot of lava rock in the corner of the property because they had a lot of what was once active volcanoes, again, like thousands of years ago. And so, yeah, I had like all this like history I felt of the planet, and I just liked carrying them around, and I liked touching them and playing with them. And I think, that's a really good way to start your rock, crystal, stone journey, is to just kind of collect rocks as you go, about your journeys. Maybe you see a cool one on the ground, you're off visiting someplace, you travel to a faraway land and you find a cool rock on the ground. And so maybe some of you guys are already there, where you've already have like a big natural rock collection, like ones that were free that were on the ground. Start with those rocks, instead of buying a bunch of really pretties from shops and online, and having amassed this big collection. Then you're like, okay, I got all this stuff, so what do I do with it now? I think it's best to maybe start simple, and simple being just rocks that we find on the ground, rocks and crystals and stones and river stones and things like that, and things that we find in the ocean. And I would say pick one rock, of your little mini collection that you're really drawn to. I have a stone. This one is a mixture of quartz. I could see a little bit of pyrite in there, and I can see from some of the rest there's iron and things like that in this particular stone. And I got this when it's not too far from here. We're up in the lagunas, and yeah, we picked up this stone. I just thought it was really cool. I mean, just on the ground. And so I would say, grab a stone that you're attracted to. So this is one that, say, I'm attracted to at this moment right now. And I would do maybe a little meditation with it first, So I say this is going to take some time to get to know your stones. So that's why I say maybe it's not a good time to amass a lot of stones before you know how you want to work with them, because everybody works with them a little bit differently. So I would maybe hold this in my hand, do a little bit of a meditation, and just kind of let myself be centered and see what comes to mind. Like, how am I feeling internally? Is there a particular part of my body that I'm feeling coolness or warmth? Am I feeling certain things happening in my chakras? Like, do I start feeling something in my heart? Do I feel like a lump in my throat, or, something like that? So where in my body am I starting to feel things? Am I starting to have a little bit of clairaudience? Am I hearing some music playing in my head? Am I starting to see a few things in my mind's eye? And I would say take those notes down, because it's going to be a little while to get to know your stone. So you might need a few meditations. So meditating, every day if you want, once a week with the stone if you're comfortable with that, and just keep a journal where you write all this stuff down, all your insights, everything that came to mind. Don't discount anything. And then maybe while that process is going on, start placing the stone in certain rooms, and also taking note of that. So right now this is in my sacred space, like my altar space / creativity room / office. And that's because I have felt just the vibrations of this is high enough for altar work, for inspiration and creativity. So I feel that it's best suited for this room. But that takes time to kind of place a stone in every room and feel the energy that's, emanating from that stone in that room. So I would say with your new little rock that you found on the ground, maybe place it in the bathroom, and let it sit there for a week and see if the energy of the bathroom, maybe it's a little bit more pleasant atmosphere, while you're taking a shower or bubble bath or whatever. Maybe you're starting to get more inspiration, more ideas for projects that you might want to do. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And see how it changes the vibration of that room, and take note, bust out your little rock journal. Then place it in another room for another week and see how the energy of that room shifts. Do you start acting a little bit differently? If it's, I don't know, let's just say you have a piece of carnelian or something like that, and you place it in the bedroom, like all of a sudden, are you finding it hard to go to sleep? Is your mind racing before you fall asleep? Is the one thing you want to do get up and go work out? Instead of go to bed? Are you feeling more restless instead of at peace when you're in the bedroom? Take all these notes. And so, after you've moved the stone from room to room around your home, you can get a better idea of where you think the stone would be best suited, depending on how you like that energy. It's like, well, I really liked getting inspiration in the bathroom. Like, maybe I'll put this in there. I think that it's, and this is all just, it's all just feeling stuff out there. There isn't an exact science, to working with stones and crystals. I mean, I have a lot of stones and crystal books and I enjoy reading them, but for the most part, I think it's a very personal journey. So I would say, place it room to room, make sure you're doing your meditations, and then also maybe look at the color of the crystal, and then see how it works with your body. So with this one being a white crystal, maybe think of the chakras. So we think of the base, or like the root chakra as being red. We think of the sacrals being kind of like in red orangey, or burnt orange kind of color. We have our solar plexus as yellow. We always think of this area as being like pink or green. We think of the throat as blue, and here more indigo, and in our crown more of a purple. And so I'm like, well, I think of white, or kind of this kind of grayish white or off-white, more of like a high vibe color. So maybe I'm gonna see how I do with sleeping with this under my pillow for a week. So I'm gonna put this underneath my pillow because it's closest to my head. And I'll make note of any dreams that I have that maybe are out of the ordinary. You know, maybe it may be nothing at first, but then maybe like after a couple of days, you're like, okay, dreams are very interesting. You know, I'm having a lot more dreams of my childhood for some reason, you know, mark that down. And through these different ways of working with the crystal, you really get a feel for it as if it were a friend, because they are our crystal friends, our little stone friends, our little rock friends. So by doing these various exercises, you start to feel the effect that it has on your body, the effect that it has in your environment, the effect that it could have in your dream time. You can maybe even start taking the stone to work. Does it change your day-to-day routine at work? Are you feeling more energy, less energy, more tired? Are you feeling like you want to speak more at work? Are you like, you know, how is it changing the energy level at work, you know, and definitely mark it down. And so I would say stick with one stone for a while, really get to know it. And, you know, if you want to do a little laying down, taking a nap, place your stone somewhere on your body, maybe along your chakras, maybe hold it in the palm of your hand and see how that changes your dream state. See if that changes the stasis, you know, of your body, you know, your vitals and everything, you know, before the nap and then post nap. Maybe you don't want to take a nap at all. You just want to lay there and just kind of like chill out for 10 minutes and see if there's any changes. You know, after I place this on my heart, do I feel some, you know, thoughts coming to mind? Do I feel a little restless? How am I starting to feel? And that's how we get to know our crystals, and that's how we get to know how they want to be worked with, you know. So this particular crystal, after me doing some work with it, I, you know, have determined that it's a little too busy, has a little bit too much energy for me to have it in my bedroom, because that's where I want to be at peace and that's where I want to sleep. If I had it under my pillow, I did have some crazy dreams, but sometimes I want a little bit more peace when I sleep. So it's not very good for under my pillow. It's not very good for my bedroom. However, in a room where I'm manifesting and I'm creating and I'm doing spell work and I'm, you know, actually doing like arts and crafts and things like that, this is fantastic because it's booming with energy and it's so high vibe and it's so fun to work with and it's so powerful. So I feel that the best place that it, you know, it works is here. So that's kind of how you get to know your stones. And after you've been collecting stones for a little while, start to see if you have a color pattern. Like for myself, I have a lot of chrysocolla. And then I have quite a few pieces of hemimorphite, which is my favorite stone in the whole world. I have stones that have been carved into things. And again, that I think changes sometimes the energy of a stone once it's been carved, you know, and I do feel that you know, the stones kind of have like a spirit energy to them, you know, the spirit of the earth. And then when we carve them into something, the energy changes a little bit, you know, and therefore like the spirit kind of shifts a little bit. Some people believe that, you know, an actual spirit may enter like skulls and things like that. And I think that's fascinating too. But just again, you know, room to room, how does it feel? And meditation, how does it feel? Probably can't sleep with this under my pillow, but I can definitely put this on the nightstand next to my head, next to my pillow. So, you know, if you have stones that are a little too big for underneath the pillow, so you're not sleeping on like a boulder, you can put it on your nightstand next to your head. You know, so I have a lot of, you know, this one is Amazonite, and I have one piece of green apophyllite. And so you notice that I have a trend in my stones. There's a lot of greens and a lot of blues. And so in accordance with the chakras, green would be more corresponding with the heart chakra and blue would be corresponding with the throat chakra. And the connections I have made, well, a lot of the work I do, actually like 100% of the work I do is all heart-centered. And I do use my voice quite a bit. You know, I speak out here on YouTube, I speak as a teacher and I'm an opera singer. So a lot of what I do comes from the heart and it comes from the throat. So it's not any wonder why I have so many blue and green stones, and I'm just really attracted to them. You know, at first I was just like, I just really like these stones. I just really like these stones. And then when I finally sat down and thought about it, you know, those particular chakras and what I do for a living, it's like, oh. You know, and I have done meditations where I've tried to switch it up. I've tried to put maybe some blue stones on my heart and some green stones on my throat, and it really does kind of shift the energy a little bit, and I kind of like how it feels. So yeah, I mean, you know, play around with the crystals that you have. Don't get overwhelmed by using maybe too many at once, especially if you're just starting off using crystals. I'd say the easiest thing to do, just find something on the ground that catches your eye. It's caught your eye for a reason. It's because it wants to work with you, and it wants you to find the best way that it can help you out. If you find one on the ground, don't forget to wash it. I always like to make sure my crystal babies are all nice and clean. And yeah, you know, as they sit around your home, you know, don't forget to dust them every once in a while, keep them nice and pretty. But yeah, I hope this video is helpful, you know, for people who are like, what am I supposed to do with crystals? So, you know, later on you can get all into like the crystal grids and all that stuff, you know, as you feel called to it. But I say to start off, just for base work, find a really cool rock on the ground, just like I did when I was a kid. You probably already have a lot of rocks that you have found on the ground, so pick one of them and decide that that's the one you're going to use for quite a few weeks. You know, you're going to work with it in each room. Just how does it make the room feel? Do a little meditation with it, sleep with it, place it on a part of your body, and from there you determine how you feel that the stone would work best for you. So if you're like, this is more of a fiery energy, you know, I think that I'm going to keep this near my gym bag, you know, because I want to get up and go to the gym and I want to have some energy going to the gym. Or maybe you keep it inside your gym bag, you know. So after you've decided the feeling of that stone and how it interacts with your body and your energy field and your chakras, you know, then that's when you decide where you think the stone would be best placed. All right, so again, I hope that helps, and don't forget to write down all those cool insights that you get, you know, when you are taking note about placing it around the house. In your meditations, you may even hear like, you know, like the stone is talking to you, and that's really cool too. I've actually had that more coming from my crystal skulls and some of my spheres, but that's just, you know, my experience. You know, I can't wait to hear what your experiences are. So if you found this video helpful, just let me know if you want me to do like another type of crystal video. You know, I'd be more than happy to do that. I mean, because I love crystals. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com. I have a lot of different types of readings, and actually I have a crystal scrying reading, you know, in case you're interested. And there's also a link there to my Etsy shop where I have tons of really cool bracelets that I've made, sprays like that are on my altar that I've made. I have salves. I have a beauty salve, a recent beauty salve that I made in a very limited quantity because it's actually from the roses in my garden, and my Wally's World Oracle, which is right here. Oh. So you can grab the Wally's World Oracle, free US shipping on Etsy. So yeah, and if you want to send a little love my way, head over to patreon.com/kittensweightsandtarot, where you can get lots of good freebies and monthly grids and weekly readings and all that good stuff. So anyway, that's it from me, spiritual homies. I will catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease.